Open the cupboard under the sink and count how many promises are staring back at you. 1 bottle for glass, 1 for counters, 1 for floors, and another purchase when they disappoint. I once needed a $480 winter electric bill to make me reopen the old green ledger in my workshop. That ledger scene is Walt's story, separate from the evidence. The evidence on my bench today is a federal cleaning circular issued in 1930 for 10 cents. Near the end, we will open its title leaf and see what those 10 cents actually bought. The answer is wider than a miracle bottle. Before we get there, I will give you a 7-day, 1-room schedule controlled by current labels. I am Walt, 68 years old, retired after 40 years as a machinist in Northeast Ohio. A machinist learns to separate the drawing from the metal in front of him. In this workshop, the worn green ledger is part of our family story. It is not a verifiable historical document. The dated government pages are the evidence. On September 10, 1930, the Federal Bureau of Standards issued Washing, Cleaning, and Polishing Materials Circular 383 at a price of 10 cents. On April 7, 1931, the Bureau of Home Economics approved a housekeeper's chat script called Painless House Cleaning. On September 7, 1933, information from that same bureau appeared in another housekeeper's chat script called House Cleaning Ideas. Those 3 records do different jobs. The 1930 circular tells us what materials and product classes the federal authors discussed. The 1931 and 1933 scripts show how household work was being organized and explained. Publication proves that the advice existed. It does not prove that every household followed it. By the end, you will have 2 things. You will know what the 10-cent circular actually covered, and you will have a modern, label-bounded schedule you can begin this weekend, 1 room at a time. For 50 years, in Walt's recurring story, I ignored that ledger until the $480 bill made waste impossible to overlook. The rejected premise for this entry was 3 ingredients for an entire house. The 1931 cleaning basket named soap, polishes, brushes, a sponge, cloths, and chamois. The 1932 cleaning closet named soap, scouring powder, cleaning fluids, brooms, brushes, and mops. Those are product classes and tools rather than 3 defined ingredients. Circular 383 ranged across soap products, alkaline cleansers, laundry aids, bleaches, dry cleaning solvents, stain removal, polishes, wax, sweeping compounds, and wallpaper cleaner. One period soap powder description alone said such powders usually contained 15 to 20% anhydrous soap, with the balance made chiefly of another material and sometimes additional compounds. That composition is historical evidence, not a mixing recipe. The American Time Use Survey for 2025 said 81% of people did household activities on an average day and spent about 2 hours on them. Among people doing those activities, women averaged 2.8 hours and men 2.1 hours. People age 65 and older averaged 2.7 hours on an average day. Those figures cover housework, cooking, lawn care, household management, and more. They are not cleaning only and are not directly comparable with the historical scripts. They do not tell us whether cleaning takes more or less time today, or whether a 1930 schedule saved a measured number of hours, and they do not establish historical gender roles. Start with the schedule, because that is where the historical sources are clearest and safest. The 1931 painless house cleaning script said systematic daily and weekly care removed the need for strenuous seasonal cleaning all over the house at one time. It recommended a flexible plan that distributed heavy cleaning across the week. It placed occasional work, such as brushing walls, washing curtains, and polishing metal, on the schedule and spread those jobs across a week or a month. The same script called regular piecemeal cleaning through the year easier than doing the whole house in one sweep. A January 21, 1932 script put the principle in a short form: keep clean rather than make clean. That is historical language about prevention and timing. My modern household version begins with 2 columns on a plain sheet of paper. The first column is routine work. The second is occasional work. Put the small jobs that recur into the first column, then distribute the heavier or less frequent jobs in the second. This is my editorial way of applying the schedule, rather than a quotation from the old script. Choose one room as the weekly anchor. Look at the surfaces in that room before choosing a product. Current guidance says to use a product suitable for each surface and follow its label. Hard surfaces may be cleaned with soap and water or with an appropriate surface cleaner. Soft surfaces need products appropriate for soft materials, and washable items should follow manufacturer instructions. Electronics follow manufacturer instructions too. Now arrange the room in an order that avoids putting dirt back onto a surface you already handled. The 1931 script explicitly began with a work order meant to prevent dirtying a cleaned surface a second time. It also advised assembling the needed equipment before starting. My rule is to stop before opening anything and read the labels on the products already in the house. Then place only the appropriate items together for that one room. This is organization, not chemical combination. Do not mix products or chemicals. Follow the label and label any diluted solution the label directs. Once the room is complete, leave the remaining occasional jobs on the calendar instead of turning Saturday into an attack on the whole house. The old plan used daily, weekly, and monthly placement. You can use those same 3-time horizons for scheduling while letting modern labels and manufacturer directions control every actual product and surface. I cannot prove that one company buried a universal cleaning secret. I cannot prove that useful knowledge vanished from every home. What I can show is a documented information problem in 1932. A national housing report said practical information about cleaning chemicals was not widely disseminated among homemakers. The same report said that under the marketing conditions of that time, the information had limited practical value to them. It described chemicals appearing alone or in mixtures under trademark names that gave no clue to identity. The passage applied that complaint across 8 listed classes. Those classes were soaps, soap powders, washing agents, scouring powders, sweeping compounds, polishes, spot removers, and dry cleaning agents. On printed page 83, the report said trade names could leave purchasers in the dark about the material and its quality. It also described household cleaning commodities as shrouded in mystery from the homemaker's point of view. That is evidence-bounded institutional opacity. It is a report about information and marketing conditions, not proof of a plot, not a measured account of what every buyer believed, and not a causal history of why any one household changed its habits. A schedule restores one kind of visibility because the room, surface, and job come before the purchase. That last sentence is my interpretation of the records, not a conclusion measured by the 1932 committee. They also keep us from pretending that 10 cents purchased one magic recipe. Circular 383 was a catalog of categories and technical discussion, while the later household scripts carried the simpler scheduling idea. If you're thinking this only works for people with a farm and a root cellar, stay with me. This next part is for the house you live in right now. It was not 3 ingredients, but a schedule joined to surface-specific judgment. First, choose one room and separate routine cleaning from occasional work. Second, identify each surface before you choose what touches it. Third, clean in an order that keeps loose dirt from returning to a finished area. Fourth, gather only the tools and labeled products appropriate to that room. The 1931 source said to consider a work order that avoided dirtying a cleaned surface a second time. It also said to assemble equipment before starting. Today, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says regular surface cleaning helps prevent the spread of germs. It says routine sanitizing or disinfecting is likely unnecessary unless someone in the home is sick. When someone is sick, or when someone is at higher risk because of a weakened immune system, current guidance adds disinfection to cleaning. Clean first, then sanitize or disinfect only if needed. Match the product to the surface and follow the label. For disinfectants, the label controls the application method, any dilution, contact time, disposal, protective equipment, and other directions. If dilution is directed, current guidance says to use room temperature water, unless the label says otherwise, and to label the diluted solution. The surface must stay wet for the contact time stated in the directions. Wear the protective equipment recommended on the label. Ensure good ventilation indoors, such as allowing fresh air to enter. Store and use chemicals out of reach of children and pets. Children should not apply disinfectants. Never mix products or chemicals with each other. Poison control warns against combining bleach with ammonia or acid. Bleach with acid can form chlorine gas, and bleach with ammonia can form chloramine gas. Chlorine exposure can burn or irritate the eyes, nose, and throat and can lead to coughing or lung injury. If chlorine gas is inhaled, leave the area immediately for fresh air. Trouble breathing or other serious symptoms require medical attention. For a relevant bleach or chlorine exposure in the United States, poison control can be reached at 1-800-222-1222. Do not return to improvise a neutralizer. Get help. After using disinfectants, wash your hands with soap and water for 20 seconds. Surface disinfectants do not belong on skin, directly on food, or on pets. It fails when a product is wrong for the surface, when a label is missing or unreadable, when a person guesses at dilution, when contact time is cut short, when ventilation or listed protective equipment is ignored, when children or pets can reach the product, or when products are mixed. It also fails when a historical formula is treated as current permission. I will not turn historical formulas into present-day instructions or substitutions. The safe value we carry forward is the schedule, the prevention mindset, the prepared work order, and the habit of matching each surface to current guidance. 1 room, 2 columns, 4 planning points, and 0 chemical improvisation. The Depression household system has 74 printable pages, 30 food-stretching recipes, and 52 Saturday actions. It costs $17 once, with 0 subscription. It is a separate household system, and I am not claiming that every source or detail in this episode appears inside it. You can find it at grampusledger.com and in the description below. Now stay right here, because the 10-cent source is open on the bench and the real finale begins. The work lamp is warm on the bench now, and the green ledger is open beside a government title leaf. The ledger is our storytelling frame. The title leaf is real evidence. It reads washing, cleaning, and polishing materials, Circular 383. The Federal Bureau of Standards issued it on September 10, 1930, and printed a price of 10 cents. Its abstract did not promise 3 ingredients for an entire house. It covered soap products, alkaline cleansers, laundry aids including bleaches, dry cleaning operations and solvents, stain removal, furniture and automobile polishes, metal polish, floor wax and polish, sweeping compounds, and wallpaper cleaner. A later page described one kind of soap powder as usually containing 15 to 20% anhydrous soap, with the balance chiefly another material and sometimes additional compounds. That page is chemical history, not a recipe for the house you live in now. The April 7, 1931 script said systematic daily and weekly care was the answer to strenuous seasonal cleaning all over the house at one time. It called for a flexible plan that distributed heavy work over the week. It spread occasional jobs across a week or month. It said regular piecemeal cleaning through the year was easier than one whole house sweep. It asked for a work order that would avoid putting dirt onto a surface already cleaned, and it advised assembling equipment before starting. Then, on January 21, 1932, a handy cleaning closet stated the prevention principle as keeping clean rather than making clean. On September 7, 1933, House Cleaning Ideas said house cleaning had been spread through the year except for a few special tasks in May or September. That was a claim in a period script, not a measured national prevalence study. Hazardous historical material stays historical, and I will not turn it into current instruction. Current labels and manufacturer directions control today. As of July 18, 2026, viewers could read the complete public copy of Circular 383 at the National Institute of Standards and Technology website without a login or payment step. That access statement belongs to that date. The household scripts mapped time, sequence, prevention, and preparation. Put together carefully, they give us an evidence-bounded system without a miracle claim. The warmest thing on this bench is not the paper. It is the relief of finding that the honest answer is still useful after the catchy answer falls away. There is a quiet dignity in putting the cupboard back in order and knowing why each item is there. You do not need excitement from a cleaning schedule. You need the calm of seeing one room finished without making tomorrow carry the whole house. The 1931 source called regular piecemeal work easier than one whole house sweep. Current guidance keeps each product tied to its surface and label. A schedule gives each job a place, and a label gives each product a boundary. Together, they turn a vague burden into one visible decision at a time. That is quiet competence, measured in finished rooms rather than dramatic promises. In the comments, name the one room where work keeps piling up. That is the only answer I am asking for. Did a 1937 source really support the so-called kettle and jacket system? If you want to help recover practical source reading one entry at a time, subscribe and come back for the next document. We will keep the old pages honest, keep current safety in charge, and leave unsupported promises on the cutting room floor. One source can correct a claim. 2 columns can steady a week. 3 old scripts can reveal a pattern without proving that every family followed it. This is not a channel. It is a family ledger reopened. One entry at a time.